Whittington,
Present.
Alderman Clark,
Present.
Alderman Brown, Alderman Nesbitt,
Present.
Alderman Price,
Here.
Mayor Kellogg.
Present. Now we move to invocation and prayer of allegiance. We have Bishop Owens, one of our chaplains, to the honor of the invocation.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, all of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Israel, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, we come to you once again. Our national investment of this great city of Park. We pray for mayor, we pray for council, we pray for the residents of this great city, Lord, that we will move and we will shape the city according to your divine will. That our way be your way, our thoughts become your thoughts, our actions reflect your actions. So we grateful, give you praise, honor, and glory. In Christ Jesus' name, amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin, I certainly would just like to ask if we could just take a moment of silence. Bishop Bruton, who passed, and was just pioneer in the great city of Harvey. He was one of our chaplains. He was just a wonderful and beautiful man of God. And we can just take a moment, and then I'll ask Bishop Owens if he would like to comment on after we take a moment of silence. Bishop Owens. Bishop Owens.
Residents of this great city of Harvey, we have lost a great man, Bishop G.H. Bruton, who many of us know who have served this community faithfully. His love for this community has been expressed by his character, how he has worked diligently to impact this community by his efforts to advance and to help in the process of moving this community forward. Many of us know that on this past Friday, Dr. Bishop G.H. Bruton, he passed away. All of us who knew him have felt the pain and the anguish of the loss of Bishop Bruton because of what he has given to each of us who have known him. I've spoken with his wife, and the services for Bishop Bruton will be this coming Saturday at 12 o'clock at Pastor Sims Church. I will have the exact address, but Outreach Church, I know that is what's the name of it, 147th Street, that's at 12 o'clock, which is the way after that, then we will have the service. So I ask of you that you will definitely keep his family in prayer as we continue, for we have lost a great giant in the city, as well as in the clergy field as well. God bless you.
This time we move to tonight. I'm going to ask the City Council to symbolically vote on the passage of the street for Reverend Jones. Just a phenomenal young man who has held health fairs, community outreach, food depositories, one of the top administrators in the jurisdiction of the state of Illinois. He has been helping in areas such as Bremen Township. He has far-reaching arm. He's been involved in beautification and revitalization programs. He's been a mentor of men. And I would ask that Trustee Williams, Trustee Smith, would you just comment on Reverend Jones, please?
evening to the city council, to the mayor, and to all the residents. I'm a member of New Life Pentecostal Church of God in Christ. We've been in the city of Harvey for over 30 years, and my pastor has done some great things in the city, and so I brought it to the councilman's attention, as well as to the mayor, about naming the street after him. This coming up Friday, we'll be celebrating over 30 years of ministry, and it's going to be held at the Holiday Inn in Matson. And just a phenomenal man, great leader in the community, and just asking will the council consider that.
You know the address of the church?
The address to our church is 148 East 155th Street in Harvey, right across the street from the Harvey Library. We once on Dixie Highway, 147 by Courtesy Exchange.
Again, I'm proposing that City Harvey name symbolically street after Reverend Jones for all his work he's done in the community. If we could make sure that we get the street that we can name it. Would the alderman have any opposition to that symbolic gesture for Reverend Jones?
No, I have no opposition. Reverend Jones, it's a pillar in the community and it's trying to our community already. So it is a nice gesture for the type of gentleman he is.
So, take a motion in order for the symbolic renaming on the 54th after Reverend Jones.
I'd like to make a motion to make the motion to name the street after Reverend Jones.
Move to second, roll call, please.
Alderwoman Lewinsky,
Yes.
Alderman Whittington,
Aye.
Alderman Clark,
Abstain.
Alderman Nesbitt,
Aye.
Alderman Price.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
This time, it's indeed an honor to talk about some outstanding police officers who have done some tremendous things in the city of Harvey with respect to curtailing crime, eradicating crime, more importantly, using a very community-oriented approach to policing. But more importantly, they have been working very diligently to resolve homicides in our community. And tonight we have 8 young men and women that I would like to present certificates to. And so that I will not be redundant, I'll read the certificate and then I'll just call out the individual's names after Chief or Deputy Chief Thomas talk about these individuals. But again, it's the City of Harvey Honorable Mayor J. Kellogg presents a letter of commendation on February 17th, 2016. Officers responded to call for shots fired in the area of 126 in Halsted. Their skillful crime scene analysis, their location of canvas and witness interviews led to the apprehension of the subject that was subsequently charged with first-degree murder. So again, we have those outstanding young men and women in here. So, Chief East.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's indeed a pleasure to be here to introduce to actually give accolades where it's due. These officers that have done a wonderful job in taking a very dangerous person off the street. On February 18, 2016, the Harvey Police Department received a call of shots fired at the location of 14626 Halsted. Harvey officers responded to the scene, and in the vicinity of 14626 Halsted, approximately 6 to 8 minutes after the call was given, Officer Cornelius apprehended a male subject fleeing from the scene. At the apartment, officers located a female subject suffering from a gunshot wound to the head, and she was transported to Christ Hospital where she succumbed to her wounds. A second victim was taken to Christ Hospital with a leg wound. She survived. Due to the diligence of Harvey police officers and investigators, the male subject that was apprehended 6 to 8 minutes after the call was received was subsequently charged with murder and attempted murder. And as a note, this subject had just been released from the Department of Corrections in October of 2015. And he is no longer on the streets of Harvey. He is awaiting trial for this murder and this attempted murder. And it is our hope that this subject will not be released again to our community. So I would like for all of those officers to please stand, Officers Cornelius and the investigators, would you please stand at this time so that you can be acknowledged by the citizens of Harvey. Would you remain standing, officer?
Captain Robert Wright. Captain Anthony Correa. Congratulations. Deputy Chief Gregory Thomas. Detective Sandra Baptiste. Detective Jose Gomez. Detective Elijah Muhammad. Officer Maurice Cornelis. Detective O'Shea Wright. Detective Ramon McAlpine. This time I'll turn it over to Deputy Chief Thomas.
Yes, but there's one more, Detective Rashid asked you. But if I could
ask you, let's charge it to our heads and not our heart. We certainly appreciate you. We certainly will bring you back at the next city council meeting. We want to present you with your own specialized certificate. So again, forgive us. Deputy Chief Thomas.
you know, first of all, excuse my attire, I was just in training, but I got the pleasure of supervising probably the greatest investigation group in the state, which is an easy job. These men and women, I mean, I really wish the citizens of Harvey knew exactly what you have in this special group, and not just them, the Harvey Police Department. I watched them 2 years ago perform on a national stage with this hostage situation in August of 2014. What people fail to realize is the only person who was injured in that was an officer. Actually, Commander Keeler's Hill was an officer who put himself in his life in line for your safety. The job was done right. The suspect was apprehended. The victim was saved. But in this incident in particular, the true hero in this, as we all receive awards, was Officer Cornelius. If you knew what he did, Officer Cornelius was in the area when he heard the shots fired. Like the dispatch call didn't come out. He heard the call. He heard the shots being fired. and he disregarded his safety. He disregarded, you know, a lot of what your instincts would tell you to do, go away from the shots. And he's seeing the guy fleeing from the scene. And Officer Cornelius single-handedly pursued this individual, apprehended this individual, and as a result, this guy was scientifically linked as the shooter to this crime. So this is not a chance where witnesses will turn on us. He was scientifically linked. And Officer Cornelius, I mean, really, it started with him. This is a guy, this is a chance, this is a situation where this suspect had no time to be a threat to society because of his response. This suspect was apprehended and arrested, I heard the chief say 5 to 6 minutes, but to be honest with you, probably 2 minutes or less after the shooting happened. He put his life on the line, and when you look at this guy, any one of these men will do it again. Really, as you know, I think I said this oftentimes, that I promise you, we'll be there, we'll respond. You have a unique group of police officers in the Harvey Police Department who train hard, and they train where they play hard, and oftentimes where the media overlooks us or we get the bad rep, these are the guys who lift each other up in the locker rooms, lift each other up in the roll call rooms, in the investigation division, and they go out and they do it daily. I believe they take crime in your town personally. As they are their supervisors, oftentimes I'm reevaluating because we're taught in the academy not to take things home, not to take it personal. But these individuals, a crime is committed in Harvey, I see them work around the clock, and it's almost like frustration. It's a will, a goal to apprehend suspects who commit crimes in your town. And to be honest with you, man, I applaud you guys. It's easy working with you. Not afraid to say it, man. You're like brothers and sisters to me. And I thank you for what you do today.
Oh, absolutely.
Normally you do with everybody else. We want a picture with the mayor as well.
Yeah. Over the last several weeks, my office has been inundated with calls from individuals who watch cable. And they certainly want me to address what I would call antisocial or challenging behaviors. And as an educator, I'm very proud of the fact that I wrote a proposal for School District 152 for an alternative school, where Mr. Roberts served as one of the school board members, and Price was one of the former school board members, and Alden Nesbitt was one of the former school board members, Alden Winston was one of the former school board members. But the ironic, interesting perspective to tonight's similarities with respect to addressing challenging behaviors. I first want to say that as a leader, I must be cognizant of how I conduct myself and how I react, because certainly I'm a role model. And I've heard my former students all over the country. I heard from a lot of my former students right here in the city. And I just want to say, so I had to kind of do an analysis with respect to challenging behavior. So over the last 33 years as an educator, I had to address what I would call the multi behaviors of children who have academic and behavior styles. And not only their behavior styles, but their styles of learning. And so I recognize that you have your visual learners, your kinesthetic learners, your auditory learners, and And those individuals who learn visually, they certainly, they deal with sight words, pictures, and then those that deal with auditory, they deal with communications. They like to best express themselves through tape recordings and flip cams and things of that nature. And then there's the kinesthetic learning that certainly deals with hands-on learning. And then there's also other styles of learning that certainly I learned how to address those particular styles of learning, such as the innovative style of learning, the analytical, the common sense, and the dynamic learners. And you might be asking where I'm going with this, but when I start looking at, anti behaviors and challenging behaviors, I have to look at and use my 33 years as an educator. And certainly when you look at bad behavior, one of the things that I constantly do, not only as a teacher, being a student, coach, assistant superintendent, as well as the superintendent, I put in place what I call behavioral expectations. And what I found out over the course of my life is that there's no difference with children's anti-challenging behaviors, expectations, whether you're in a boardroom, a classroom, or a city council room. Whenever I had the opportunity to address challenging behaviors, I knew that there must be behavior expectations put in place. Because if you didn't put in place a plan to address challenging and disruptive behaviors, it interferes with the safety of everyone who's in the midst of those exhibiting challenging behaviors. And so, in school, some of the challenging behaviors were, you would see students who were withdrawn, and then you would deal with students who have, I would call it isolation. When you deal with disruptive students getting out of their seat, name calling, swearing, violent and unsafe behaviors. We certainly had to address that. And some of the influences on student behavior I've concluded over my career as an educator included, but not limited to, what I call biophysical factors. And when you deal with biophysical factors, you're dealing with medical conditions. And then when you deal with psychological factors, you're dealing with emotional trauma, things that have happened during the course of a student's life. Then you have behavior and social factors, and historical community factors. And those historical community factors certainly could, in a child's life, there could be trauma. And then there's that student group dynamics, those are the cliques. Then you have your classroom organizational style. And I'm going to tie this all into tonight. But I learned over the course of my career as an educator that there's no single cause for challenging or disruptive behavior, but it's the result of several factors in combination. Behaviors are used in school, used to get out of work. Generally, a child would act up when he didn't want to do his work. And, our setting, individuals act up to walk out of the meeting. One of the things that I know about behavior, there has to be triggers that prompt certain behaviors. And so, without putting in place a plan to address those particular disruptive behaviors, I know that you have to have structure, you have to have consistency, you have to have rules, you have to have enforcement, but more importantly, you have to have communication. And so, I conclude by saying that one of the things that we have to do, we have to follow Robert's Rule of Order so that we can conduct ourselves in a civilized but in a civil manner. And then we have to do an analysis of, does that behavior interfere with city government? And does it impede the progress of operating and conducting business with respect to the meetings? And then the other factor is, do those behaviors harm anyone with respect to what's said, or the people that's attending the meetings, is the behavior oppositional. Those are just some of the classroom things that I've noticed that, again, as I indicated earlier, can certainly be played out in any room, whether, as I indicated earlier, boardroom, wherever we are. But one of the things that I noticed that when I was in education, students they would inspire, they would collaborate, and they would form what you call collusion with other students to disrupt the teacher. And it was a science behind disrupting the teacher, because when you disrupt the teacher would not be able to get through with the particular lesson. And so when I'm disrupted, certainly it's a science behind that, because I'm not able to conclude with my message. And so tonight, certainly I'm asking, I wrote numerous letters to the clerk with respect to how do we address and deal with disruptive behavior. And one of the things that we're going to do, clearly we're going to follow, Robert Rule of Order, so that we can stay consistent with operating from a higher level of professionalism, and but more importantly, set the example for all those in attendance, but more importantly, those that have an opportunity to view our local cable. So with that said, I'll move to my report, so that I can, it's part of my presentation. So, yeah, one of the things that I'm charged with doing is providing information to the residents so that they can have a clear understanding of what's going on with respect to the city. So, as I was talking earlier, I wanted to talk about the psychology of abnormal behavior. Understanding the criteria cause of abnormal behavior. The reason why it's so important that we talk about abnormal behavior is it's very important, because when individuals act up and act out, we're not able to conduct city business. And so from a psychological perspective, abnormal behavior is the study of a person's emotional, cognitive, and behavior problems. Abnormal behavior is defined as behavior that is disturbing, that's socially unacceptable, distressing, adaptive, of self-defeating, and often results of distorted thoughts. Abnormal behavior is any behavior that deviates from what is considered normal. There are 4 general criteria that psychologists use to identify abnormal behavior. Violation of social norms, behavior that goes against what is considered normal by society, is abnormal. For example, a man who takes off all his clothes and jumps in the Buckingham Fountain with someone blurting out homophobic slurs. A person has, when you deal with the statistical rarity, this person has an extremely low IQ. This person might be classified as having some type of mental retardation. There's a very low percentage of the population with mental retardation. It's a rare and abnormal behavior. This is from a psychological perspective. Person in distress. When a person engages in that abnormal behavior, the cause and sometimes the result of our behavior can be distress. For example, an example of obsessive compulsive disorder is anxiety about something that can lead to a compulsive behavior meant to relieve stress. We deal with maladaptive personalities, a behavior that is likely to hurt a person or someone else, whether it's a physical harm or social harm, such as losing a job, losing a position, or respect of your peers. This particular shall lead to someone insults. We deal with it from a psychological perspective. You have to deal with the mental disorder. And this usually involves unusual or statistically abnormal behaviors. More discerning criteria is distress. A person who is displaying a great deal of depression, anxiety, and unhappiness. Oftentimes, their own behavior, past and present, distresses them. Abnormal behavior can also be defined as behavior that deviates from what is commonly accepted by a group or society. When you deal with this particular abnormality or dysfunctional behavior, it can be viewed as an undesirable behavior. An example of this abnormal behavior would be if I were giving a lecture and someone hit their fists on the desk, roll their eyes, get up and start to dance to music only they can hear. Abnormal behavior is behavior that deviates from what is expected and what is normal. When you study abnormal behavior, it's referred to as abnormal psychology. Every culture has what is called standards for acceptable behavior, or socially accepted norms. These norms are expected ways of conducting yourself in society. Those that make homophobic remarks can be referred to or characterized as acting abnormal. Making homophobic slurs are incomprehensible comments that threaten and make people feel uncomfortable. The degree to which norms are violated can be considered rude, eccentric, abnormal, or even criminal. When a person makes rude, defamatory slurs, they may not be able to hold jobs or positions because they can't control themselves from making false statements. When individuals make false, misleading, defamatory, homophobic statements, they could be suffering from what they call unpredictability and loss of control. Deal with irrationality, violation of moral and social standards. This is a letter from the Indian Americans for Harmony. And this letter basically sums up and says, this letter was sent to Mayor Keller expressing how displeased and concerned the organization was after hearing Mr. Brown's remarks relative
I make a motion to
to mayor's sexual orientation.
A second.
Section 8 guidelines.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Lamont Brown stated that
That is a privileged motion.
Lamont Brown stated that he lived at 14732 Wood.
The clerk, please call the roll.
If you ever heard of filibuster,
It has nothing to do with city business at all.
after the election,
You gotta deal with city business.
however, the landlord said that only two individuals were glad that the address of Mr.
Will the
Brown was
clerk
not
please
listed on the
call the roll?
We gotta deal with city business.
list. According to Section
Will
8,
the clerk please call the roll?
the rules and guidelines, there should be no unauthorized occupancy in the unit. Nor shall the
Going to
unit
school.
I
be
made that
utilized
mistake before, and I'm
as
not
a
going to.
rooming house. And no one in the unit should
There's a
be
motion to adjourn
convicted
on the
felon.
floor. There's been a second.
This is
Therefore,
not a
based on
classroom.
the rules and regulations,
You pay taxes.
Mr.
This is
Brown.
not a classroom.
have lived there,
I'm
or
not
if you
giving
were
it
living
to
there,
you.
if anyone violated any rules pertaining to Section 8's guidelines.
This really must hurt.
When you deal with the eligibility to hold municipal office,
We should leave this type of stuff.
65 ILCS,
It's not
it states
only
that a
right.
person is not eligible for elected municipal office unless that person is a qualified elected of the municipality
We should
and
conduct
has
city
resided
business.
in the
Only the city
municipality
business should
for
be
at
taken
least
care of.
1 year. Illinois compiled statute states that
This
you
is
must be a
not right,
resident
ladies and gentlemen. You know
for
it's
a year
not
in the
right.
municipality prior to election.
We should be talking about ordinances and resolutions.
You out of order?
Tax water,
Y'all,
your
y'all
bills,
order? Out of order?
Water,
Y'all order?
bills.
story of my life,
Yeah.
story
Talk
of my
about
life.
abortion.
Y'all
What about the
order?
lights on
You must
Halsted?
be a resident for a year in the municipality prior to election. However,
What
there's
about the tax
documentation
dollars?
that states that Lamont Brown did not reside
What about the
in the fourth
potholes?
world until January 21st.
But you was on the election board. You
You
was on
knew
the
all
election board.
about this.
According
You
to the
even
landlord
purchased his
of
book.
Mr. Brown,
You
previous
was on
owner
the
address,
election board.
As the
No one
school
should have
board
a South End
representative, you
or
purchased his
Whitney Road.
book.
In addition, Section 8 guidelines
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a
Letting and accepting rent from others when you're renting.
We don't care about that. We're not about
You
kidding.
care about this?
According to their laws, Lamont Brown took the vote at 147-32. In light of this information, questions are now being raised relative to Mr. Brown's residency prior to the election. Excuse me. The next time I talk to you, I'm gonna ask him to take you out here, sir. Okay. Again, prior to the election, during the election, and current residency. Citywide beautification.
business. That's not
This is a
city business.
beautification program. All of the city public, excuse me, sir, I'm gonna ask you one more time, then I'm gonna ask the officer to escort you out the
All
building.
the
We're here
business that you see in
because you work for us. We don't.
All the city public workers employed and inspectors have been in the field cleaning block by block. The workers have been cutting grass and trees,
You
removing
get arrested, I'll
garbage
go
and
with
debris
you.
from vacant properties and repairing potholes. The workers have also been cleaning alleys, removing trash from old garages, avoiding vacant and abnormal. Excuse me. The planning department has been writing citations and fines to businesses and residents.
Why did he look? Are you pushing him out? We're here to
not breaking it.
That's your argument. This is bullshit, man. Yes. You put him out, we all walking out of here. That's bullshit.
Go out here too.
Okay.
Go out here too.
Yeah, we vote for you because we want you as the mayor to do something for the city.
Come on, sir.
What you do for us? Nothing.
Sir, come on.
You know, this is all garbage.
Sir.
Get out of here. You know,
Sir.
you are useless. That's what you are.
I like the move. On the price.
All of those
Yeah.
second
Move the second. Roll call. On the price. On the net. Mayor Kellogg, aye.
Excuse me,
This
everybody,
time-
Mayor, let me
Go ahead.
speak real quick.
Go right ahead.
When you have,
Yes, sir.
when you have people sit here and yell out about potholes, when they voted to send money back to the county, don't y'all be fooled. She voted to send street money back to the county, but then she want to yell about potholes. The tax levy money helps fix lights. They have not wanted to pass it. So whoever is exciting you all, don't be fooled. And it is the truth. Hey, I'm speaking to the public. I'm not speaking to you. So if it hits you personally, then you must feel a certain type of way. I'm speaking to the people. When it comes to someone yelling out about fix the potholes, but they sent hundreds of thousands of dollars back to the county, don't be fooled by that.
No, don't be fooled by his lies.
I ain't worried about him.
Potholes all over.
You have no right to.
I'm done. Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
What gives you that right?
Still have to respect the officers. She never
No, I
disrespected.
didn't
That's a woman. She
I just asked this resident if he was okay. You can't say, you are affecting me, you are, and I have nothing to do with it. You, no, I don't.
Ask him that question. I'm offended by that.
And you shouldn't be.
He's not gonna be hurt with the police.
I asked him if he was all right. I know you are, that's something you do.
Only in Harvey.
My children.
Food.
We are following. No. No, did you see that report of this? Are you a student? You're not a student. No, I'm not considered a grown man, not a doctor. Tell me what I
not saying that, brother. I'm just saying that.
This why we need a Jumbo.
Then you got some pants back.
This is why we need a
every city council is like this. I don't need nobody to tell me what I'm okay, go to adjourn. Thank y'all for coming out.
Good night, thank you guys for coming. See you.
That it?
So you have to do that. We are not agreeing with you. We are not agreeing with you. We are not agreeing with that. Okay, yeah. We want to know where's the money at? All the money.
Certainly, Councilman will tell us. I understand that all of them have been with the city. And so if you would like to arrange a meeting, come talk with me. Come on in, anytime. Yeah, anytime. Bring all your friends. We can meet at City Hall and we can explain. You can have my council anytime.
Yeah, because you know.
Okay, anytime you want to. No problem.
20 houses.
I understand that. We understand that. But you know what? We respect what you're saying. Respect what you're saying. And if you want to set a meeting, we can set a meeting. Okay? So all right. You tell me when. Tomorrow? Get your people. You want to meet tomorrow?
Que si quieren, que nos reunamos con él para hablar de esto en una semana o cuánto tiempo para hablar con él y expresarles el asunto. Necesitamos reunirnos todos y hablar con él. ¿De qué te va a servir? Nos va a servir de algo. Hablar con él lo que hacemos.
Pero hay una cosa que nos van a decir una cosa y van a salir con otra. Entonces, mira, nada más lo que están diciendo, que el agua no se ha pagado. We can have a meeting. We can't meet again and finalize everything here tonight. But if you'd like to have a meeting, certainly meet whenever you feel.
Entonces, ¿quieren que hagamos una junta con él o no? Si quieren que la hagamos mañana. ¿A qué hora y dónde?
A las 6 y aquí. Aquí a meeting city council tonight.
Vamos a por allá y irnos a las 6 de la tarde y hablar con él. ¿Les parece bien o no?
Yes. Check the schedule. You got a number right now. I have my secretary call you, Bill. Take my schedule. So, you can take my schedule again. We're not going to talk again. You want to have a meeting, we're going to sit down and talk like me. You sit down and talk like me. Okay? Respect you.
Ya, vámonos entonces a las 7 para el próximo lunes aquí.
All right. Hello, amigo.
You don't mind,
Whatever you need, whatever and whoever you need to bring people. Okay? Hey, what's your name? But God. All right, thank you. Okay? Good? Look forward to seeing you. You can blow 6 stop signs and get home, but you can't find me breakfast. No, now you can watch the background.
Okay. Everything over with.
That's my boss tells me. Soon, really soon. Huh?